Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about solar powered generators and battery banks, and I want to discuss what size is right for you. Okay, so the first type of battery bank that I want to talk about is your personal phone charging bank. What I have here is like a Belkin. I believe it's 20,000 milliamp hours at 3.7 volts. Now, this thing is meant to really only charge very small devices like cell phones or maybe drone batteries, stuff like that. You're not going to be powering much out of this. You're not going to be using this as like some sort of major power supply. It's really not made for being able to run equipment. So if all you're needing to do is charge your cell phone or charge your drone batteries, charge other small battery devices, just get one of these. I want to say that you can pick one up between $20 and $50. Now the biggest difference between this and the rest of these units that I have behind me is that this can only be charged really with AC power through like an adapter. Everyone knows these, like these brick type devices that you just plug into the wall and then you plug in your USB port to charge your device. And then also you can use these, which are like cigarette lighter adapters, but they're the same thing. They're just USB charging ports, and that's really the only way to charge this. Now, moving on to our second item, it is what you call a solar power generator. They can also be called power stations or solar stations, I guess, solar powered stations. Now, the biggest difference between that and this little Belkin here is, first of all, you have more options to run equipment. And also, you can charge the battery that's inside this with solar. Depending on the power generator that you get, you can only charge it with a maximum amount of solar panels. So you need to keep that in mind. But we're not talking about that here. We're talking about why you would choose this size of a device. This size of a device, you're looking at more of a camping environment. And not multiple day. You're not going to be cooking with this thing. It's not going to run air conditioners. It's not going to run hot plates. It's not going to run mini fridges. This is going to be used more along the lines of if you need to use an AC pump to pump up your bed at your campsite. Again, this can also be used for charging up multiple battery devices, like multiple phones. If you charge your phone, you charge your, you can charge your drone at the same time. This also has AC ports. But they are very limited. I believe you can only power up to 200 watts on this. So if you were in an emergency situation and you had, let's just say, a 150 watt heating blanket, you would only be able to run that heating blanket through this AC port for probably about an hour. And that's it, because the battery inside of this is a 166 watt hour battery. And if you have a heating blanket that uses 166 divided by 150, that's only a little bit over an hour. And we're not even bringing into account the losses that you will get from using the AC plug inverter on this small device. But something like this, if you go onto Amazon, something like this costs about, $130. But just keep in mind that this cannot power large devices when it comes to the AC ports. It does have a couple of barrel plugs, and those can run up to 10 amps at 12 volts, but this device is unregulated, so it depends on the charge of the battery on what you can actually run on those barrel ports. All right, next we're talking something about, it's a little bit more high-end. It has a little bit different battery chemistry. And it also, instead of only being able to run 200 watts of AC, it can run up to 600 watts of AC. And it can actually run a little bit higher than that, but what it does is it drops the voltage in order to give you more amperage. So it really doesn't give you more than 600 watts. It just kind of tricks the device that you're using to be able to run on a lower voltage. This is the Blue Eddy EB3A, and this thing runs for about $300. Now, what's nice about this is that, first of all, the battery chemistry is different than all the rest of these. These ones are running on lithium-ion batteries, which have a maximum charge cycle of about 800 charge cycles. But this Blue Eddy is lithium iron phosphate, and lithium iron phosphate has a charge cycle life of around 2,000 to 3,000. And we're talking, that's the number of cycles for these devices before you get to about 80% of the battery life. Now with this one, you can do all the same things with this one that you can with this one, except for this one does have a wireless charger on top. It does have a couple of AC outputs, but these can be run at up to 600 watts, like I said before. So it will be able to handle larger devices, your CPAP machines, possibly an induction cooktop. Even though the battery is lithium iron phosphate, it has a lot of charge cycles, but it's only rated at 268 watt hours. So again, even though this power generator does support a larger load, you will burn through the battery fairly quickly with this. Now, if you're needing a portable power generator that has more watt hour capacity, you're going to want to go for something like this Go For It. All right, this Go For It, this thing is a large portable power generator. We're looking at 923 watt hours in this device. It also does have a wireless charging station on top, and it has multiple ports for being able to charge your USB devices. It can charge your laptops, and it also does come with a 1,000 watt AC inverter. So with this device, you can power your induction plates. You can power public coffee makers. You can also power maybe even a very small air conditioner, but you're gonna burn through this battery pretty quick with those types of devices. If you use an induction plate to, let's just say, heat up a pot of soup, you're gonna go through about 30% of this just by doing that. But a device like this is really made for like weekend camping. This thing can support up to 200 watts of solar, but it only charges at really 150 watts. So something like this would take about 6 hours to charge from an AC plug, or up to 12 hours if you're charging it with your DC lighter in your car. So which one of these devices is right for you? That is all dependent on what you plan on powering. Do you plan on just charging your phone? If you're planning on charging just a cell phone, don't go with this. This is way overkill. Don't even go with this. I mean, you can spend hundreds of dollars and not use any of the options that are available with this if you're just planning on charging your cell phone. Go with something like this. And if you want it to be, in a camping environment where you would like to charge it with solar, go with something small like this. There's no reason to get these bigger devices if your plan is to only charge very small drone batteries or phone batteries. Now, if you're planning on running like a CPAP machine, something that you need to make sure that it stays powered the entire time, I would go with something more like this from Blue Eddy, because this Blue Eddy is also a UPS, which means an uninterrupted power source. So you can have this plugged into your wall, and then if your power goes out, it will switch over to battery power instantly. And the device that you have plugged in will never know the difference. So this right here, if you're gonna be using CPAP machines, like I said, or if you're planning on charging up, if you're planning on using multiple phones and a laptop and your drone batteries, you might wanna go with something a little bit bigger, something like this. But again, make sure that you're looking at what you're actually going to be powering. Why would you go with a Go For It? This is for the whole weekend. This is from beginning to end of your camping trip. This is good for your bigger devices. Again, it can charge cell phones, it can charge your laptops, it can do all of that stuff. It can run your CPAP machines. This one does not have a UPS function, so you cannot charge this device and use the AC ports at the same time. But this thing is actually a monster when it comes to portable power. But it comes at a price. We're looking at $850 or something like this. So we're looking at probably $850, $300, $130, and then $40. I hope this video kind of cleared up. If you have any questions about what type of power generator you should get, it's all about what you plan on powering. If you have any questions about any of these devices, please leave them in the comments. Thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day. Bye-bye.